Video short and to the point so that you understand what you have to do. First off, always make sure that your workspace is ready to go and in the proper mode. I have mine in Essentials, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit Reset Essentials just so I can make sure I have all of my tools. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and get any extra pieces that you want to add to your photo. So step 2, you want to do any adjustments or edits. If you need to adjust tonality or anything, do it now. This image is pretty solid, so I don't really see any need to do so. This was a professional model shot, so all the lighting and everything is very good. So a couple things that I want to do with this is I wanted to bring a tattoo in, and I wanted to give her a septum piercing. So few basics. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to copy this in. Now this is the old school way of doing things, but because you guys don't have access to a lot of the AI features, we will do it the old-fashioned way. And it's a good way to know how to do things anyhow, because you just never know when you need it. So I'm just going to hit Control A, Control C, and Control V. As you can see, that does copy it over. Make sure that you label your layers. Okay. Now, once you have that, you'll notice that you can click on things and move it around, and that's exactly what I am doing. I just want to kind of get it out of the way for the moment. Okay, so I will go over how to do the septum piercing. And again, you don't have to do this. You can do whatever you want and that you decide. But ideally, you want to get things kind of lined up to begin with. There are advanced AI tools now that can actually just do this for you. But we do not have access to that, and you will not always have access either. So, first step, I lined it up so that her nose fits with it. And then you're going to take your eraser tool, and you are going to take the hardness down to 0 because we want to do some blending. We have to be careful because you can see the tonality difference here. The size is pretty okay. I'm going to go a little bit bigger just to speed things up. And then I am going to remove, notice I am not touching the actual piercing. I am just removing the extra, just to start things off. And then I will reduce the size down so that I can start removing that little excess here, because we don't want any of that. And it doesn't have to be perfect because this is such a small feature. So it's not something that people are going to notice unless you do some like hardcore zooming, but I do want to make sure that it is relatively clean. Now that I have it, I can do some adjusting, whatever I need to do, or I can leave it where it is, which I'm pretty okay with its location. All right, so we want to zoom out, and you can see, unless you're like zoomed up, you're not really gonna see it. Though I do need to take care of this little spot right here. We gotta have that shadow, otherwise it's not believable. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom out, and that looks okay. I mean, does it look amazing on her? No, but it does the job. Now the same thing would go with the tattoo. So if I decided I wanted to give her a chest tattoo, like it could be her chest or it could be her neck. I'm just going to kind of place it right here. We want to place it with how the body goes. Now the nice thing about this one is we can cheat because it has a white background. You can either just take the wand tool in general and remove the white if you want, but that's not entirely necessary, and I'll show you why. I'm going to show you. So I'm going to hit Control D, that's deselect, and you can see The cut was relatively clean, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm going to leave that white just so you can see why I'm not worried about it. If you go to normal and you go to multiply, okay, and then now you can either try multiply, or there's other like exclusion and some other things like that. But we're going to start with multiply, and I'm just going to fade it back because I do want to change the color of this later. And I don't want this to look like a new tattoo, so we want to make sure that it's not too intensely dark. So again, I'm going to take my eraser, and I am going to get close, but not all the way. You don't want to hard erase exactly, and you don't want to go too soft. If I soft erase, it's going to fade it. So I'm going to bring this up about halfway, and then I'm going to kind of go along here. Now, this is manual erasing. There are plenty of opportunities when you can just use the lasso tools or other selection tools or even the pen tool to erase, and I'll show you how to do that. In this case, here's the lasso tool. Works very similar to the pen tool. We just kind of want to line it up, and then you want to end where you began. And if I hit backspace and hit Control D, you can see that trims that out. And if you do it right, it works really well. That is my preferred method of doing things. It just makes things neater. And then we're just going to quickly get rid of that extra. Okay, so if we zoom out, we can check placement. Placement is weird, but I don't really want to go back and adjust that anymore just because this is a demo and I don't want to overkill. So now once we have this, we can start the color. And that is going to be in part 2.